Money makes the world go round. We've all heard that one before, but when it comes to Gen Z, it is TikTok that often does the job. Ironically, especially in matters of money. Apparently, 80% of Gen Z gets financial advice from social media. And what's their favorite platform? TikTok. It has birthed one finance...
80% of Gen Z gets financial advice through TikTok. I swear TikTok is going to ruin Gen Z. There is 20% of Gen Z who don't get financial advice through TikTok. And I think they are most likely going to succeed. And if you want to be someone who's successful in life, be the 20% who does not get financial advice through TikTok. There's much more better resources out there to get financial advice. Please don't do TikTok. So many schmucks out there who claim that they are the financial advisor and they show their nice cars, the nice houses. And we all know the internet's full of crap, right? The house they're at is probably not even the real house. The car they have, they probably rented it. We all know the internet's full of crap, so don't believe them. With all the filters and the photoshops, you don't look like that. We all know it's a fake person behind that. They have something that computerizes them to make them look more attractive. We all know social media and the internet is full of crap. So please, if you're Gen Z, do not take advice about financial information through TikTok. Please.
Trend after another, like treat culture or soft saving. What does it mean? These trends involve putting less money into the future and using more of it in the present. Basically, spend now instead of saving for tomorrow, which explains the findings of this survey. 60% of Gen Z say they rely on their parents for financial help. 40% say that they are financially squeezed, mostly thanks to excessive spending on non-essentials like...
I guarantee you the reason why is because they saw financial advice on TikTok. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, this inflation we live in and being young and trying to figure out how to make money is also really hard too. You know, I've been there too. Me as an older millennial, I'm not struggling anymore. But in my 20s, I totally did. All my 20s was a struggle. But all I can say is I look back at my 20s and yeah, there's a lot of dumb decisions I made. Dumb financial decisions I made. Bought stuff I should not have bought.
Like coffee, clothes, and impulse buys. These trends can bring short-term joy, but they're breeding financial insecurity. So now there is a counter-culture at play, the no-spend challenge. It's a viral finance trend with more than 200 million views on social media. This challenge is like a spending fast. It involves paying for essentials such as rent, groceries, and other bills, but not buying unnecessary items. The challenge says, goodbye to coffee or alcohol, bid adieu to eating out, and close your eyes when the sale prices flash. Because no more shoes, bags, or clothes. Imagine the horror. It's a great sacrifice. But what's the point of it?
You know what you could also do? I mean, I kind of am for this, like, no spend challenge. That's, it's a discipline. That's what it really comes down to, is discipline with your money. How you can save it versus spending it. But also, you have your bank statements to look at, to see, and just take 2 months and actually go down. What did I really need to spend money on? Like rent, utilities, bills, right? Groceries. And then look and circle things that you know were an impulse. Like, yeah, I went to McDonald's when I didn't have to. I had food at home. Or I bought some other random stuff because it was on sale. I bought a bag that I did not need. I bought some shoes that I did not need. Circle it. If you'll be shocked at how much money you spend on just crap. And one thing that does not make you happy is frivolous stuff, frivolous junk that we buy. It does not make you happy. It gives you like maybe a quick burst of happiness, a little joy at first, but then after a while you forget about it. For most things you bought, you forget about it.
And that depends on you. Let me explain. This challenge has 4 basic steps. The first is to set a goal, to explain why you will save the money, to build an emergency fund or to save long-term for retirement or short-term for a vacation. You set a goal. The second step is to have rules in place. You can have a no spending day or a week or a month, depends on you. The third step is to keep an account, to track your progress, your expenses and your savings. But none of this would matter without the fourth step, and that is reflection. To notice your spending patterns. For instance, 46% of shoppers spend money because of FOMO. That's what a survey found. 46% people. FOMO is the fear of missing out. And much of this is avoidable, especially because it doesn't always make us feel good. 64% of shoppers regularly regret spending on short-term pleasures. In such cases, the no spending challenge can be helpful. It can cultivate a habit of budgeting and free up money for more important things. So is the no spending challenge beneficial overall? The jury is still out. Proponents of the challenge forbid a range of so-called unnecessary items. And
my fear is that if you go 6 days out of the week with no spending and you choose to spend on the 7th day, I worry that people will splurge. You know, like they would binge at, like, you know, people who diet and they binge and they end up not losing weight, so they just completely killed off all that progress. But yeah, it's if you can stay on it, that's good. This no spend challenge, because it's money discipline is a real thing. You need to be on top of it, or else you're just always going to be broke. And you're always putting things on a credit card. And you're always in debt. And you're always paying interest. And you just feel like you're suffocating and you just can't get out.
Top of this list is usually coffee. Time and again, finance gurus have regurgitated this advice. They say, skip the coffee and you will be a millionaire. And generally, this is true. Let's try and break this down. Let's say you buy a Starbucks coffee every day. That is about $3 per day, or about $100 a month. Now, if you invest the same amount every month at an...
There's not a lot. That estimated interest rate of 12%. There's not a lot of, you know, funds and interest rates out there that is 12%. You're lucky if you get 8%. And I'm being realistic. Maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to comment below. But I invest my money, and it's really hard for me to find something that stays at a consistent 12%. Yeah, maybe 1 year will be 12%. I know this S&P 500 is a good place to put money in and you get 12%. That's not a bad move. But again, of course, investing, I'm not one who's going to give investment advice, because I just know the moment I say invest in this, it tanks the next day and I look bad. You know, it happens to most YouTubers out there who say investment advice like, hey, this stock is hot, and then next day it crashes. A lot of it's because of reason for it. Nevertheless, $3 for a cup of coffee, dude, like Starbucks is easily $6. I know this because I have a fiance who's obsessed with Starbucks, and I give her crap for it all the time. So you can just, you know, switch gears to $6 and change the interest rate down. Probably would still be $1 million. Given 40 years, you know what? That 40 years feels like a long time. But guess what? It catches up quick. So if you're 22 looking at this video, before you know, you're going to be 62. And I don't want you to look back and being like, damn, I should have saved and invested my money. I'd be a millionaire. And all it was $3 or $6 a day.
Interest rate of 12%, all hypothetical. In 40 years, you will have about $1 million. That is the power of compounding. But before you boycott Starbucks or whatever coffee you drink, let's look at the flip side. Often when people try to cut costs, small optional expenses take the first hit, like coffee or ice cream. Trimming these expenses never hurts, but it doesn't help much either. Instead, budgeting big ticket items will save you more money. For instance...
Well, before she gets to that, to coffee, I mean, I drink coffee every day. Just make coffee at home. It's pennies to make coffee at home. You know, I go to Starbucks, and they sell the Starbucks beans. And you can make like over a month worth of coffee for pennies a day, versus going to Starbucks, getting that 50 grams of sugar in your drink. It's not coffee anymore, it's dessert at that point, but still, it'll save you so much money if you were to buy the Starbucks coffee beans at Starbucks. But yeah, I mean, it's okay to drink coffee. I just don't buy it at Starbucks or places like that, coffee shops.
Instead of buying an expensive car that you can't really afford, think about a cheaper one that gets the job done. And this is where the no spending challenge lacks. It fails to look at the real problem areas. It's like a quick fix, like a crash diet to trim your budget.
So the budgeting one, I would say, never get a car loan, ever. Only buy a car that you can afford cash. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard to save money for a car. That's why the discipline is there. Don't just go off and just pull a loan and pay interest for a car. That's just going to keep you poor. That discipline where you can save your money, put in a 4.5% savings account where it gives you money for having money in the bank, where you're making interest versus paying interest. And then if you buy your first car for cash, let's say it's like, well, cars these days, I was looking them up not too long ago, you'll get a beater for $7,000. It's not easy to save $7,000, but don't get a loan on it. And besides, if you're looking at a loan, you're probably going to get qualified for like $25,000, and you're going to be like, I want a $25,000 car. And before you know it, you're spending 7 years and paying a lot of interest on a car that depreciates over time. When you're better off just saving, have some discipline, put like $7,000 if it's your like first car. Yeah, it's not impressive. I get it. As long as it gets the job done, point A to point B. And once you have a car, save up for the next one, a better car. Maybe something that's worth $20,000 or $30,000, something that you really, really want. But please don't get a loan and pay interest. It's going to keep you poor.
Also, it's not for everyone. Gen Z, that is 12 to 27-year-olds, are driving this challenge. They are the ones shelling out financial advice, which honestly does not inspire tremendous faith. So take from this challenge what you can. Tighten those purse strings, notice how you spend your money, but also ask yourself, how much does 1 cup of coffee harm your budget? And what is the point of saving this money if you can't have a nice coffee sometimes? I guess, like with most things in life, moderation is key, not TikTok solutions.
Sometimes what I'm spewing out, I'm really just reflecting on advice I wish I could give my younger self. Because, like $5 coffee, well, it's just $5. It's no big deal. $5 is so small. Who cares? But 5 times 30, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's $150. That's a bill. And you shouldn't be buying coffee if you don't have any savings. Because what is it, like almost half of Americans can't afford like $1,000 emergency? It's like the car repair or some kind of repair or something comes up, because something always happens. It's life. Something always happens. If you're not prepared, you're going to get even more screwed. That's why you have to have a savings account. Let me look that up real quick. Okay, here it is from January 2024, so 6 months ago. 44% of Americans can't pay an unexpected $1,000 expense from savings. So if you're someone who is at 44%, you don't have $1,000 in your savings, that should be your step one. This sounds like, the Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. Let's go over that real quick. Okay, these are the 7 baby steps by Dave Ramsey. And of course, I have no affiliation to him. Quick disclaimer. Sometimes I disagree with Dave Ramsey. However, I find myself in almost full agreement to his 7 baby steps. It's a good foundation for financial discipline to save money and build wealth. Each step are big steps to take, right? They take a while to get from one step to the next, but either way, it's good to have this goal in mind. His first step is save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. What's important about this is that it forces you to have discipline, financial discipline. It's supposed to demonstrate how hard was it to save $1,000. For a lot of people, especially millennials, you're not making that much money because most of your money goes, it's gone in like bills and everything else. It's not easy. You will quickly learn the sacrifices you have to make to save $1,000. You can't go out with your friends as much. You can't keep up with your friends going out all the time. You have friends who like to go out, have fun time, and spend money. You have friends who make fun of you for not going out and spending money, right? I've been there. I know what it's like. I didn't want to feel humiliated. I didn't want to feel insecure. I want to go out and have fun and try to impress people. I look back at that now. I was like, damn, that was dumb. Most of those friends I don't hang out with anymore. Some of them are just deadbeats. But yeah, I digress. Save $1,000. Learn what it takes to save, what it's like to save $1,000. I'm sure it's not easy. Step 2 is pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. Now with this, he's talking about you pay off like your smallest debt first until you tackle the bigger ones. So say for example, you have like 2 credit cards, one has $1,000, one has $5,000, and you have like a car loan of say like it's $10,000. He says pay off the smaller loan first, regardless of what the interest rate is. This way you feel more accomplished when you pay off the $1,000 one. You can focus fire the $5,000 credit card debt, and once that's taken care of, you freed up more funds to focus fire on the $10,000 debt, and then you'll be able to pay it off faster. I mean, what's good about that is that you feel accomplished when you pay off a debt completely. And I know that feeling. Like, getting out of credit card debt is an amazing feeling. I know some people would argue, like, what if like the interest rate on the second credit card is, very high and the first one is very low? Wouldn't you want to tackle the one with the highest interest rates? And yeah, there's some good argument points in that. But overall, the principle is pay off the debt. Now, from getting from step 1 to step 2 is pretty hard to get to. You may have accomplished step 1, but to get to step 2, that's going to take years for a lot of people, a long time to get out of that debt. And then once you finally accomplish step 2, you have like another big one to accomplish, which is step 3. Save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. That's a lot. Like if your rent is like, say, $2,000 a month, your food and other bills and other expenses, let's just say it's $3,000 a month, right? Of what you just paid just to get by. Basic needs. That means you have to save $18,000 in an emergency fund. That's hard to do for a lot of people, especially Gen Z, when you're not making that much money. But if you can get there and you have that discipline and you understand the importance of saving your money, you will be on top of other people. Like, not in a metaphor, right? Like ahead of people who are struggling while you're no longer struggling. And then step number 4, once you have those emergency funds, then this one I kind of disagree with. Invest 15% of your household income into retirement. That's a lot of money. I mean, if you can, that's great. This way you guarantee yourself a great retirement. But I'm someone who wants to retire like tomorrow. That's why I invest a lot of my money into like a stock portfolio, and I try to get that so I can retire ahead of the common retirement age, which they keep pushing because I think it's 72 now. I want to retire tomorrow. But don't get me wrong, I'm still putting money into an IRA. Nevertheless, whether I agree with this or disagree, at least you're putting money into retirement. Number 5 applies to people who have kids, right? Save for your children's college fund. Step number 6 is pay off your house early, which is a good idea because you save so much money on interest that you didn't have to pay into. And then not having a mortgage is probably the best feeling out of all debts to be alleviated from. And of course, 7, build wealth and give. The build wealth is like, now you have all this extra money, you can really focus fire on investing. There's plenty of funds that's like 8%. I know the video we just saw said 12%. If you know one, please let me know in the comments. I would like to know. I know it's not financial advice. Wink, wink, hint, hint. But I would like to know it so I can research it myself and come to my own conclusion. But yeah. Overall, I would still recommend these steps, and sure, change it to something that works for you. But overall, whether you agree with it 100% or 80% of it, this will help you get ahead of other people. Because I grew up poor and it sucks. I'm not saying I'm rich, but I'm far from broke. And it's a good feeling. And I definitely did apply 1 through 3. Save the emergency fund, paid off my debts, and I have an emergency fund. And that's a great feeling because you're just kind of just like, okay, I don't have financial stress. It's one less stress I have to worry about. Yeah, there's also other stresses in my life. Family, random expenses that I don't want to pay for. They all keep coming up. Random stuff happens every freaking time. Random crap that makes you just spend, damn it, now I gotta spend $3,000. But if you have the emergency fund, it becomes an inconvenience because if you don't have an emergency fund, it becomes this huge catastrophe in your life. Now you got to put on a credit card or pull a loan, and now you have to pay interest on that, and you're yourself in a deeper hole. And when you do pay off the loan, you'll notice how much money you just spent on interest. That money could have been for you. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment below. I do look forward to your comments and read them. And hit the subscribe button if you have not. Especially if this is like your second or third time seeing my videos, I think now is the time to subscribe. Until next time, bye.